Today I am going to do a variation on a potato chip block, and this ends up actually being twice as fast as a potato chip block. It looks pretty cool. I haven't ever seen this variation anywhere, so I'm not saying it doesn't exist, I just haven't seen it. So if you have, that's great. For this, I'm going to have the center square instead of two squares, because I did it the other way before, and I think it's just going to work better this way. And then I will start forming up my potato chip block with these chips. I know that some people really want to see what this looks like, what it's actually going to look like before getting to the end. I'm not going to do that on this video because I think that waiting for the reveal is going to be worth it. But if you are one of those types of people, then I suppose you could scroll ahead. And I have faith that when you see this, you're still going to want to come back and actually watch this and see how it comes together, because it's going to be pretty cool. All right, so on a regular potato chip block, and this is one where it's a center square instead of two of them, it looks kind of like this, where you're going to kind of build it out, and it's basically like broken courthouse steps. So usually courthouse steps, you have a piece there, and then you'd have a solid piece here, and then a solid piece over top and bottom here, and then you'd have a solid piece going that way, and you basically just build it out however many rounds that you're going to go. And this one is actually something that I'm going to do this particular treatment that I'm going to demonstrate with these colorful batiks. I'm going to do that with this so that I can make some charity baby quilts, because I have a bunch of blocks and these kind of went someplace where they didn't turn out quite in the way that I was hoping they would turn out. And that is one of the things about this, is that if you're somebody who is not really a fan of the chaos kind of scrappy, and so that's going to be the sort of thing where it's all different fabrics, all different colors, and it's just kind of jumbled together and there's no sense of it, there's no guardrails, then this works and it's actually going to be very pretty. So if you're not familiar with the potato chip block, it's pretty simple. Most potato chip blocks are constructed with a 2.5 by 4.5 rectangle, and that's going to make it so it's a 1-to-2 ratio or 2-to-1 ratio, whichever way you want to think of it. So this, when it's sewn in, is going to be 2 inches by 4 inches. And so similarly, you could have a potato chip quilt where your chips would be 3 inches by 5.5 inches, because that would be 2.5 by 5 sewn in. Or you could have 3.5 inches by 6.5 inches, that would be 3 by 6 sewn in, etc. So that's basically what that means. And that's why if you are going to do a center square instead of these two pieces together, which would end up being 4.5 by 4.5, then you can use that 4.5-inch square and it works great. So it's pretty simple. It doesn't really matter what direction you start in, especially if you are just purely going scrappy. And for me, I'm just going really scrappy. This is definitely me going outside of my comfort zone, because for me, I'm just not a fan of not having those guardrails in place in the form of either, kind of a color scheme or value difference, which would be light versus dark, that kind of a thing. So I have that. And you can press these open, or you can simply press them to the side. Okay. And apologies if that sounds like nails on a chalkboard. I had somebody comment months ago when I did that it sounded like nails on a chalkboard, and they hated it and proceeded to flame me in the comments. So you just want to add it to the other side here. And then on this, I will need 2 of them together. So you can see right here, basically what I've done is I've done this and I've attached these. So now I'm going to have to attach 2 there and 2 there, respectively, on this. So I've already sewn these 2 together. I'm going to go ahead and sew the next 2 together. So I'm going to just grab something that looks kind of interesting and weird mismatch, because that's the thing. I'm trying to prove here that this is going to still look amazing even if it's really mismatched scrappy. So here we go. So I just simply go ahead and I'm going to press that to the side. And that just makes it so it's nice and easy. And then because there's not really any matching seams to worry about, I can just press this to the side. Any side doesn't matter. I could press it open if I wanted to. So I'm going to put that right on there. And then just to kind of help myself out, because this seam is going to be the wrong way, and there is a tendency for the feed dogs to try to spin that around, then I'm going to try to get that matched up. And I'm just going to secure that with a clip. You could do that with a pin if you wanted. Or, when it gets to that point and it looks like it's going to kind of bunch up like that, then you just kind of lift it up and smooth it out and make sure it's going the right way. Okay. Off track there. Okay. So if you look on this one, we're going to have the two here, but we also have two on the top and the bottom there as well. So we're going to need to do another two of these together. And this way you can just keep kind of chain piecing it and building that block without having to really stop until you get right to the very end. Okay, so we have that. I'm going to set that over there. And then this piece right here. Okay, and now I can just flip that around and I can just have that way. That's easy because that feeds through the machine a lot easier. And then again, I'm just going to clip that so I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so here's a basic block, and you could stop here if you wanted to, but we are going to take this out another round. Let's do those two. All right, so I could start building the three patches. So yeah, this blue and this orange, I mean, they totally do not look like they go together, so this will be perfect. Okay, and then I'm gonna put that pink. That looks really weird and clashing there. All the more fun. Right, so we need that pushed to the side there. Okay, and then I need to get this one pushed off like that as well. All right, go. Let's see. Looks really good. And then I just have two spare pieces. I don't need them. All right, so I've got my last of the two chip combo to get spread to the side there. And then this is three. And see, that is just going to fit right there. Let's see. And here it is, the finished block. So I'm going to go ahead and get this pressed really nice and flat and then get on to the next step here. Here it is, the finished block, all nice and pressed. So that's really nice and flat. And this measures out to 12.5 inches, but I am not done with this. I am going to turn this into two blocks. So the way that I am going to do that is I need a nice solid square of fabric that is also 12.5 inches. And so here we go, I have that. And I'm just trying to kind of line it up pretty well there. Okay. And then what I'm going to do first is you need a fairly long ruler for this. My 18 inches just barely does it for that hypotenuse. And so I'm going to go ahead and draw a diagonal going corner to corner on that. And just try to make sure that I'm lining it up pretty well. Okay. So I just used a friction pen to go across kind of lighter fabrics there. And then this is a General's chalk pencil. I'm a big fan of those. And then I think just across that red, I'm going to see, yeah, so that looks pretty good. I've got a really good line that I can follow. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and do a 2 at a time HST with this, and then press it to the side, and then we'll be back. So I have these made up, and they look pretty cool, but I am not done yet. But even with this, you can see how this purple fabric just really somehow tames all of these things from being super chaotic, because like that blue against that orange is just really clashing. This orange and dark red against the purple just feels really clashing. And yet somehow, even just doing that bit is actually making this really come together and be very pretty. Even though I went out of my way to make this into something that was really, really super scrappy without any kind of guardrails whatsoever. So what I want to do is I need to match these up. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these matching against each other. And so this is where it really helps to have this folded to the side. So I have it folded towards the solid fabric because that way I don't have to fight with all of these seams. And then I'm just going to go through and I'm going to try to get everything to basically be nice and flush right against there. So I'm just trying to make sure that everything is nice, and those kind of ridges made by the pressing are going to keep all of that nice and together. And then just going to secure with some pins. Okay. And I think right there would be a good spot for a pen. And then, let's see, and then I want to go ahead and I want to mark my diagonal again. So let's get it all lined up. And this, at this point, it's slightly more than the 12, but that's something that I can easily trim down if I want to in the final block. So I want to get that matched up right there. And then I think all of this is dark enough that I could just stick with that chalk pencil. All right. And I'll have a shopping link that you can click on just so you can see more about the pencil. Because I always get questions about the chalk pencil just because it works so well. It works better than any other form of chalk that I have used. And it does wash away really well. So if you're interested, just look for that link. And I believe they have those shopping links in the description as well. So just like before, I'm going to go ahead and sew on each side of this line 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so just a quick thing before I press this. This is definitely a situation where I want to spin these seams. And that is pretty easy. I just take a seam ripper and I just open up those little stitches right close to the seam line. So I'll do it a little closer so that you can see it. Just like that. So this process is called spinning the seams. And what will happen is that I can press it all around, so it's kind of like it's spinning. And it will just pop open in the center. It makes it really nice and flat, makes it very nice to be able to stitch over for doing quilt stitching of the final piece. And here they are, those 2 units. So just like I said, 1 potato chip block yielding 2 units, so you can actually make this twice as fast. And, you could say almost twice as fast, but you don't even have to, you can just use a square for the center like I did, so you wouldn't even have to sew that bit together, so you do save a little bit of time there as well. And I think this has a very high impact to it. Even though this purple doesn't seem like it goes with this really fiery kind of reddish orange, or, with like this here with this olive green, it really doesn't look like it kind of goes with that splotchy olive green at all. It just seems like it ties everything in together. It's kind of like the difference between the kids playing on the playground completely unsupervised, and it's turning into like a Lord of the Flies Hunger Games type of thing. And that's what it was like in that block before. And with this added onto it, it's kind of like this is the teacher, and the teacher has everybody in the circle all nice and orderly, and they're playing duck duck go, and everybody's all happy. No kids are being left out, no kids are being bullied, and I think it just works really well. The first couple of blocks that I made were these 2, and so as you can see here, my original block had the 2 in the center, and it didn't quite line up real perfectly in the center there. So I have a real nice point there at the intersection for this, but it still didn't line up. So I think it does work better if you have that square in the center. This is what is called a quarter square triangle. You could also call it a QST for short. And there's a couple of layouts that you can do with this. One of the nice things about this is that it maintains that thing about potato chips, that if you've made the potato chip block that you really love, which is the no matching seams. So you can line it up that way, and if you want to have it look like that, then you can line those up, and there's no matching seams, and you get these nice big color block squares with those. And then the other main way that you could do this is that you could do it like this, so that it's every other, and that looks really nice as well. So what do you think? Do you think this is a way that you would like to make a potato chip block? I know I'm going to make some charity quilts out of some blocks and have a lot of fun with this. So I hope you have found this video interesting, and I've given you some inspiration to be able to rethink your potato chip blocks, especially anything that you might have set aside because maybe you didn't like the way it turned out. Just, add a nice solid color. A dark color is probably going to work the best that way, and I think you're going to really love the results. So until next time, happy sewing.